Our proud sponsors of Royal Outdoor Experience is Baronet Blinds, River's Edge Stands, Strike King, Lose, Crappie Magnets, Mossy Oak, Foot on the Head Calls, Scent Thief, and Grizzly Sunglasses.
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Royal with Royal Outdoor Experience. We are so excited to be here in the studio today. We've been out of the studio for a while. We've been chasing food plots now for quite a while. Got everything pretty much done with all of our spraying, and now it's just a matter of coming back and doing some tilling. So we're getting there. So if you're a client watching or listening today, just know that we're working hard, getting everything ready to go. And October 26th, we'll be here with our first clients before you know it. Hey, we got some exciting news too. I just want to let you know that we got a new guide that's going to be on staff with us this year at Missouri Hunting Fishing Adventures, and we'll even have a chance to welcome him on a podcast later on, and that's Don Ship. Don Ship is an 8-time world champion turkey caller that will be with us this year. And he'll be guiding out of either the Osceola South Lodge or the Wheatland Lodge. So if you're coming in there, we're going to be having him as the camp manager and the guide within those areas. But today we got a really, really special episode. And I've said that before, but today we really do have a special episode because if you're listening, you're going to hear some things in the outdoors and talk about some people that have been legends. They're legends in the outdoors, and we have a legend that's here, and I know he doesn't want to be identified as a legend, but we have Garry Mason with us here today, and Garry has a lot of things on his plate, but one of the things that he does is he is the organizer and founder of Legends of the Outdoors Hall of Fame, which we attended in at the Bass Pro Shops at the Johnny Morris Convention Center down in Springfield. And we have Garry on today, and we're going to talk about a lot of the things that he's doing, which he has a lot of things that he does other than that. He has a television show that's called Legends of the Outdoors TV. I know that Garry also has the Bethel University fishing team that he coaches as well, and was a guide for a long time on Kentucky Lake and Barkley area down there. We've been friends for a long time, and it's fun to have our paths come back together again. And so today I'm going to go ahead and introduce Garry Mason. And Garry, are you there with us, buddy?
Man, I am, Roll. I'm glad to be here with y'all, and I appreciate you calling me up and inviting me to do your show.
Yes, sir. Well, we're excited to have you here today. We had a little bit of technology issues to start things out with, and it just seems like that's par for the course with everything that has to go together on a Zoom and all that. So we apologize for that. But hey, we just want to start out here today and let you introduce yourself a little bit about what you have going on in your life and you know what your titles are and the things that you are developing. I know you know Legends of the Outdoors being one of them, but also know that there's a lot of other things out there. And tell us a little bit about as well how this all started. We had that conversation, which I think is very interesting, and I think a lot of people would enjoy just the history of how this started and how the Hall of Fame was actually established.
Well, yeah, Roll, I appreciate you letting me be on here with you and talk about all the great things that I get to do. I'm one of the most blessed people on this planet, and I get to not only hunt and fish for a living and coach a bass fishing team, one of the nation's premier bass fishing programs, but I get to hang around a lot of really cool guys like you and a lot of our people that you and I look up to and call legends. And so in 2002, I was on the old slow dial up internet. I had been a professional hunting fishing guide for most of my adult lifetime, either on a part time basis or a full time basis. And I had kind of come up through the industry with great people like Earl Benson, Wade Bourne, and grew up with Brenda Valentine, Harold Knight, David Hale, Mike McLemore. Just the list went on and on of all the great and wonderful people that I'd gotten to share hunts and fishing trips with. And boy, I'd made a lot of stories and a lot of great memories. And one day I was looking on the internet and I couldn't find a Hall of Fame for people in the outdoors industry. I mean, there was Pope and Young and Boone and Crockett and stuff like that, which are great entities. But I couldn't find anything just for folks that hadn't caught nothing or shot anything of magnitude in their careers. And I went in the kitchen, and my wife was kind of doing around the kitchen. She said, "What have you been up to?" And I said, "Well, I've been looking for a Hall of Fame for people in the outdoors industry." And I'd guided a lot of country music stars and baseball and football players. And I looked at her and I said, "There's not a Hall of Fame in the outdoors industry for people in the industry as a whole." I said, "Somebody ought to do something about that." And she looked at me very innocently and said, "Well, aren't you somebody?" The very next day, the Legends of the Outdoors was born. And my wife even drew the logo, and she's not really an artist, but she drew the logo that we now use on a napkin, and I've still got that napkin. So that's kind of how the Legends of the Outdoors was born. I tell everybody that God gave me the idea through my wife, and it's been a really, really great blessing for us to get to induct people from all walks of the industry each and every year. We've been doing this now 23 years.
Wow.
We've had 23 induction ceremonies. So, but yeah, what a true blessing and an honor.
Well, the last one I had an opportunity to attend was, I believe, in 2015, and we were in the General Jackson, I believe, down there on the Cumberland River there in Nashville. I think that was the last one I had an opportunity. And Denny Brower, who's a good friend of mine, was inducted, and Paul Alpers and Babe Winkleman was inducted as well that day. And in fact, that was the beginning of a relationship that I formed with Babe Winkleman, and I guided him several years and was on his show many, many times over the years, based off of that networking that we did that day at that induction. So when did it move from the Nashville area, and is that the only other venue that it's been since it's moved to the Bass Pro Shops venue there in Springfield?
Well, we actually started out in 2002 at Parish Landing State Park in
Oh boy,
2003, and that's right here at my home
sure.
waters of Kentucky Lake near Paris, Tennessee, where Brenda Valentine and I both grew up, and also another Hall of Fame member, Steve McAdams. We all had come from Henry County, Tennessee. And then after the second year, Ray Scott, the founder of Bassmasters, and I got to be really close, and Ray said, "Hey, look, son, you need to move that thing to where there's an airport." so,
Yeah.
so we contacted some folks in Nashville and moved it to the Music City Sheraton for a few years. Then we was at the Renaissance one year. We was at Gaylord Opryland Hotel one year, and then the year after we was at Gaylord, part of their company was the General Jackson Showboat, and they offered us the opportunity to move it there. And I think we were there on the General Jackson about 8 or 9 years.
Uh-huh.
And then in a meeting with Johnny Morris, Johnny told me, said, "We'd love to have you take a look at our venue here in Springfield." And we went and toured that with some of Johnny's folks, Jerry Martin and others, and just was blown away by the venue of where we hold it today. And that's in the John A. and Jenny Morris Conservation Center there next to the Wonders of Wildlife Museum and Aquarium. And we've been there 4 years out of our total 23 years. And we're very happy there and love the venue, love the atmosphere. And the people just treat us really, really well. And we're looking forward to coming back in 2026 to that venue.
That was just a magnificent place there. I had been in the room. It was just prior to coming into the actual venue door there. I'd been in there. We worked the Mossy Oak booth there with Kevin Van Dam when they had their big anniversary there, and Kevin and I had a chance to be in that room there, and that was actually kind of a hospitality room. So I'd kind of been in that area there before, but I'd never been in the actual banquet room. And when I walked in there, I was just I was flabbergasted. I just couldn't believe how beautiful that was, and to have that 3D setting in behind the stage with actually a wooded area with trees and a bear back there. I mean, that's just cool. That's just cool. And I mean, just perfect for the people that were in that audience and those who have been inducted in there to have that kind of atmosphere. And I think that it also brings a little bit of a prestige to your actual event, to be endorsed by Bass Pro Shops in an event like that. I just thought it was just couldn't be any better as far as what I was concerned.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we're very proud to be there, and I look forward to several years upcoming for us to be in that venue. And one of my hopes is that we outgrow it, but we still have plenty of room. We can move our silent auction out, in the hallway if we need to, and
Uh-huh.
put more
Oh, yeah.
tables. But I can tell you, Roll, we've already sold 5 tables to that event
Oh,
for
that's
this
awesome.
upcoming year, and we haven't even put the tables up for sale yet. But and of course, we know that our we'll have a continuing presence with some of our great premier sponsors like Major League Fishing and Woodhaven and Bass Pro
Oh, yeah.
Shops and others. So looking very, very forward to 2026. And then, of course, in 2027, we will celebrate our 25th anniversary. And we're going to have some really, really neat special things going on for that.
Gary, we talked a little bit on the phone about this, and the the listeners and viewers that are with us today know that we're pretty proud of our faith and our Christian background here at Missouri Hunting, Fishing Adventures and Royal Outdoor Experience, and you know that was the thing that I enjoyed so much about the testimonies and the people that got up front. There's just such a huge parallel with the outdoors and the people that are in the outdoors with their faith, and they just have a really really good pulse and peace and serenity with their Lord and Savior. And that was the thing that I really enjoyed. I love the history of how they got there, and just the third party testimonies that came up and talked about those individuals. It was really really cool. But I just those little pieces there just confirmed to me that I was in the room with the right people that day, that I enjoy, that have a common passion, that have a common belief and faith. And it was just a wonderful day, just a wonderful day. Not to mention, we got to get caught up with a lot of people I haven't seen for a long time, and I had a good conversation with Ray I that we talked about an interview we did a long, long time ago, and just all kinds of people, cuz just Harold Knight. I got a chance to talk to him, and we're looking at putting a turkey hunt together. He has a mutual friend of ours that is going to be hunting with us this year, and so I had a chance to get caught up with him, and then Jimmy Houston was there, and we talked about Walt Reynolds, who's a good friend of mine, and just what was going on in his life. So when you get a chance to be around people like that, one, you're humbled, but two, you understand that there's just a lot of good people in the outdoor industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, Harold and Jimmy both love the turkey hunt, and we may try to get them up and hunt with you and do a TV show up there this turkey season. I know you and I have talked about doing some stuff together, and I'm very excited. And of course, guys like Jimmy and Harold, and of course Harold's partner David Hale, and others are such strong influencers in our business. One thing that I find everywhere I go, I see all these young people, doing stuff on social media and becoming influencers. But, those guys are the guys that we're all following, and to be in the room with true legends to me is something that not everybody gets to do. And I certainly don't take that for granted. These guys loan us their name and their careers, and we are so proud to help continue their legacy. And, we lose great people each and every year. They go on to God's great reward, and they certainly don't need any accolades from us once they get there. But to be able to help promote them and tell people what they've done. I had a real unique experience one time coaching Bethel University's collegiate bass fishing program. We were close to Montgomery, Alabama for a tournament, and one of the young coaches, I was going down to actually have lunch with Ray Scott and his buddy, and I asked this young coach if he'd like to go with me, and he said, "Well, yeah." So we get about halfway there in my truck, and he looks over at me and he said, Coach, I'm a bit embarrassed, but I got to ask you a question. I said, well, okay. I said, what is it? He said, well, who is Ray Scott?
I knew that was coming.
That just blew me away because, I mean, everybody should know who Ray Scott is if you're in the bass fishing world. But I went ahead very kindly and explained to him who Ray was and what he'd done, and that he was the father of our sport, professional and semi-professional bass fishing. And it just, I mean, this young man couldn't, he was starstruck when he walked in the room and got to meet Ray. And of course, Ray treated him just like, one of his own, as he always did with everybody. But, I've got to spend time with Ray Scott and Forrest Wood and Miss Nina and Earl Betts, and just the list goes on and on and on of the great memories that we've all shared together, and still getting to do that. And I know you've got to do a lot of that too. And man, I'm like a kid in a candy store every day. I wake up and pinch myself and can't believe that I get to do what I get to do.
Sir. Yes, sir. So let's get into some of the actual process. So, you know, there's just so many good people, but I guess before that, I need to thank you personally and from the family of Larry Shockey, because I saw him as a memory that was posted on the slideshow, and thank you so much for honoring Larry, a good friend of mine, and be real truthful, it hit me pretty hard, and I had to get myself composed when that came up, because I just yeah you know, and I'm going to have his sidekick in camp, Don Ship, which is going to be fun, but I miss that guy a lot, and he was one of the greats, just like you talked about, and a lot of people don't recognize those people, and you did, and so thank you for recognizing Larry Shockey, and I know his family and his wife would have been
Well, I tell people all the time, Royal, that there's only one Kevin Van Dam. There'll never be another one. There's only one Bill Dance or Roland Martin or Harold Knight, whoever the person might be. But for every one of those guys, there's hundreds of other people out there that deserve our recognition. The sad part about what I do is we can never get to all that deserve to go in the Hall of Fame, and I'm working on designing some other things for those people. But we try to get to those that we can, and our nomination list is quite extensive. And it's just, like I said, the sad part is that we'll never get to everybody before they go on to God's great reward. Ron Wong this year, we were able to tell Ron that he was going in the Hall of Fame this year before he got sick and passed on. Of course, Pamela Martin Wells passed this year as well, and Pamela had been a longtime friend and a Hall of Fame member. But, I think our major job is to keep their memories and their legacies alive once they do leave here, because they've done so much wonderful stuff. There's people out there that, for one reason or another, may get famous but might not ever become a Legends Outdoors Hall of Fame member. But I think that people ask me all the time, well, what's the criteria for going into the Hall of Fame? And to me, the one criteria that I look at is how much a person has given back to others, how much a person has helped to pull others up to their level or your level or whoever level it might be. But giving back to others, a lot of people say, well, we need to give back to kids. And that's very, very true. But there's all kinds of people out there that long for and hunger to be doing what you and I do. Of course, they don't see the washing out of the kennels or the cleaning the boats or the changing the lines on the rods and reels and and all the stuff, winterizing the boats and getting the decoys ready. And they only see the 25 minutes that we're on TV or somewhere that they see us. But I try to be very humble about all that and try to help as many people as I possibly can at each and every opportunity, because that's what the Lord put us here to do, was to help others. And it doesn't matter how far down the ladder that person is, we need to try to pull them up as close to us as we can. And that's what I think a legend is all about. not about national publicity as it is as much about, helping others and becoming known for that one factor.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree. So run with that a little bit now. How is the selection process? And then talk to us a little bit about this year's candidates. We had a special group that was inducted in this class here, and just how does the process start with the induction? And I'm sure you have a board of directors of some sort that probably looks over these applications, and just let our listeners know kind of what it takes and how the process works.
Yeah, the process is our board of directors, myself, and all of our Hall of Fame members have nomination rights. And occasionally we'll take a nomination from someone outside that group. There's a lot of people out here that know folks. We don't know them all, of course, but we're always looking for people that are deserving. God sends us great people each and every year. But we do have a pretty extensive list, and sometimes it can take 3 or 4 years for someone to get on there. But I personally research each and every uh, bio or application that we receive, and then we take a vote from our board of directors each and every year on the nominations. But it's accumulation of a lot of different things when we look at uh, a for a future member. It's not just the votes they get from our board or how they were nominated or who they were nominated by. One thing we do look at is, a person's age. If they're like Bob Timberlake this year, Bob is on up in years, and of course we hope he's going to be around for a long time. But we love to induct people while they're here on Earth with us, where they can enjoy that induction atmosphere and enjoy the oohs and ahs by their friends and family and supporters. And so we take a look at a lot of different things when we look at people, but so many people out there that are deserving of a Hall of Fame nomination. And certainly we love to hear from people that know someone that they feel is deserving. Not going to say we're always going to be able to get them in there, but we sure take a look at everybody that we hear about.
Sure. So the candidates this year, could you just kind of give us a little background on them and just and I can share some as well, but just the candidates that went in this year.
Well, of course, we had each and every year we have very, very great people, very deserving. Uh, might not be known to everybody all across the nation. Of course, Bob Timberlake certainly was. Fred Ramsey's another one that has quite a following. David
Fred's
Cole.
Been around a long time.
Yeah, Fred's been around a long time. He's been around longer than my socks. So that's what I told him. But David Cole is been around a long time, but a lot of people don't know who he is. David is, I think, a four-time world champion, Beretta world sporting clays champion, and has won stuff all over the world, not just in America, but he's won sporting clays shoots and FITAS shoots all over the world, and very well known in the sporting clays department. And there's so many wonderful people. I mean, Russ Bailey. Russ and I go way back. Back when he first started shooting TV shows, and I was guiding crappie fishing and bluegill fishing.
From down around your area?
No, I believe Russ is, if I'm correct, I think he's from Ohio.
Okay.
But
brush pile fishing.
We joke. Yeah, we joked with one another that when we did our first TV show together, we were both just yearlings. So, but we were a whole lot younger, and our hair was a whole lot thicker and a whole lot darker than it is now. But Tess Jolly. I mean, I can't think of anybody that's more deserving. Tess is kind of a quiet person, but you've seen her pictures of wild turkeys in just about every National Wild Turkey Federation magazine and others around the country. And, but the people that went in this year, all of them were so very, very deserving. And Also was happy to have Boyd Duckett as our guest speaker this year.
Oh, yeah, he did a wonderful job. Yeah,
yeah, Boyd did. And, and we do some other awards, each and every year. We do the Wade Bourne Outdoor Communicator of the Year award. And Ron Jolly got that award this year, Tess's husband, for his outdoor riding.
Yep.
And but we try to honor people from all walks of the outdoors industry, not just folks in front of the camera, but folks that are behind the scenes and outdoor riders and product manufacturers and all aspects of the outdoors industry. And I tell people, this is the one day every year that we all come together as an industry of hunting and fishing. It doesn't matter where you're at across the aisle from one another, who you're competing with. We all can come together as one big family. And I'll tell you a quick story. Year before last, we inducted Bill Jordan of Realtree, and Bill had been, we'd had him on the list for a long time to try to get him in, but there was always something going on that he couldn't come. And last year he came and took his induction. But when I was talking to him and Tyler over the phone, and Bill agreed to going into the Hall of Fame and accepting his nomination, the very next person that I called is a real good friend of mine named Bill Sugg, who's the CEO of Mossy Oak. Toxie Hayes' brother-in-law. And I called Bill and I said, Bill, I just wanted you to know that Bill Jordan has agreed to take his nomination and be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And Bill Suggs' exact words was, I can't think of a more deserving person that we need to honor. And, coming from your competition.
Oh, sure.
That is, and I think that's the way most of us look at those that we compete against. Yeah, when the store doors are open and the lights are on, we're trying to we're trying to do as much as we can to receive and sell as much product or whatever we're doing as possible. But when the lights go off, we become a big family. And, you never know from one day to the next when you're going to be working for one company or be supported by a company. And when next week you're going to be supported by someone totally different or working for someone, things change, jobs change, and careers change. But we all want to stay in the outdoors industry, and we certainly love what we're doing.
And you're so right there. Over the years working with pro staff managers, they come and go, and then pretty soon, you have to resell yourself to the company, and sometimes you'll end up reselling yourself to wherever they have gone to because they moved to another company, and it just goes to show that you build those relationships, you nurture them, you water them, and they grow, and you got to continue to keep that going throughout the process. And you're mentioning Bill Jordan. I've had a chance to get to know Tyler over the years, and just a good testimony to how he raised his son there. Tyler's just a wonderful young man in himself, and of course the Mossy Oak people they're just wonderful, and I've been blessed to be part of their pro staff for many years there, and we just know that those people like that, even though they're competitors, there's a lot of respect there, and want to see everyone do well. They want to see their competitors do well. It's not a begrudging type situation there between those companies. They have quality people that work on both sides of the aisle there. Just a really neat deal. Garry, I want to get in before we're done. I want to get into your TV show a little bit. Tell us kind of what you have lined out here for the 2025 season, and some of the things you've done in the past with your television show, because I know that's a really neat thing that you're doing, and you have a lot of viewers, and I'm sure they'd love to hear what's coming down the pike there.
Well, of course, we're fixing to get into deer season and duck and goose hunting. And of course, I know that's one of your passions as well as mine. And we'll be traveling around all over the country. We've got another hunt that we're going to do with Fred Ramsey in November. We're also going to South Dakota on a 3-day pheasant hunt up there. I had a guide service up in South Dakota guiding duck and goose hunters and pheasant hunters. Had a partner up there that own 5,000 acres near Chamberlain, South Dakota. So I spent about 24, 25 years going up there during the season and taking a lot of my Labrador retrievers. I hadn't been back since my partner passed away with cancer 8 years ago, and I'm looking real forward to going back. Jimmy Houston's going to join me up there, and several other guys, the Migra ammunition people. And so we're looking forward to that. A lot of duck hunts coming up, and we'll be shooting shows with folks like Will Fowler with Frog Togs, and hopefully with Harold Knight, and Bill Suggs may come in for a shoot, and we're looking forward to duck season. Hope we can get up to your place this year. I know you've made the offer, and we certainly appreciate that, and we want to make that happen. We're probably going to head down to Guntersville before the fall months get started and see if we can't catch a crappie and a bass down there. Maybe fish with Boyd Duckett one day and fish with Will Fowler one day. But the TV show seems to be doing really, really well, and not because I'm anything pretty to look at, but we try to have a lot of our sponsors and a lot of our Hall of Fame members on our shows and try to tell their stories and let people have some insight on who these people are that are in the background sometimes with these companies that we all know the name of, and I think that's very important to put those things together. You know, everybody knows who Boyd Duckett is, but you may not know that Boyd's got a company called Duckett Fishing, you know, where you can buy great rods and great fishing tackle. You know, same thing with Mossy Oak and a lot of these other companies. It's just a chance for us to get to share the good word for our sponsors and be a part of their lives and their careers as well. So hope everybody will turn in. You can catch us on our YouTube channel at Legends of the Outdoors TV. And I tell everybody that our TV show carries the Tennessee guarantee. If you like it, tell everybody. If you don't like it, just don't tell nobody. So.
Oh, I tell you, it's a good show. We've done some research on that, and I'm very impressed on the quality of the show that you're putting together. And of course, you know, we've talked about this before. It's just there's been a lot of switching away from the television and more into the YouTube and more into the social media, and you know, that's the direction that we've gone to a lot with what we do now. And I know a lot of the outdoor shows are doing that as well. And but you know, you're mentioning some names there. You know that Boyd Duckett and all those guys. You know, we're blessed to be sponsored by Lou's, and but we still got a guide out of Alabama that just loves his rods, and that's all he has in his boat is the Boyd Duckett white rods. You know, and that's a great product in itself too. You know, and but you're doing a great job with your show, and we're excited to put something together. And I want to make mention something that too that just to kind of put in the back of your mind that I think would be fun for our listeners and our viewers is that, you know, every year at the end of our turkey season, which usually ends somewhere around May 7th, we have our sponsor weekend. And we bring in our sponsors. And last year was pretty tough to get too many sponsors in. It just seemed like everyone had something going on. But in the past, we've had a lot of sponsors come in on that last weekend and hunt and fish with us. Of course, we'll be right on Lake of the Ozarks there, and we have our own private marina there, and it's been a great venue to host people and to network. And I think our listeners and viewers would be excited to have some of our podcasts there at Deer Creek, which we've done in the past, and film those. And so that'd be something that, you know, you and I need to talk about a little bit more and see those who we can get into Deer Creek Lodge there on that last week and maybe put something together there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we're always looking for great places to go and share the outdoors, and it would certainly be something that we could bring a few sponsors in and you know, just see where it goes. But yeah, let's discuss that further. And hey, listen, don't threaten me with a good time because I'll show up.
That's the kind of where I am. I'll head everywhere to get to into those hunting and fishing venues. It just pretty cool to go to different places to hunt and fish.
Yeah,
So
jokingly.
just give us a little bit of feedback, and we'll close on some of the feedback that you got from your Legends of the Outdoor Hall of Fame banquet. Just give us some of that positive feedback, because I've told you kind of what I thought, but I'm sure you heard a lot of things.
Well, I'm my biggest critic, and I'm always looking for ways to make things better. Not necessarily bigger, because I don't know of anybody that's holding anything like this anywhere in the world, where you can walk in and meet 35 or 40 of the nation's top outdoor celebrities, like you can at the Legends of the Outdoors Hall of Fame banquet. But and the average guy can buy a ticket to go to it and be a part of it. But we're very proud of what we're getting to do, and I tell folks all the time that if you've not been to one of these, you need to go. And we celebrate our Lord and Christ, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We celebrate our first responders and our military people, and we celebrate our flag. And hopefully, none of them will offend you. But if it does, we'll give you time to leave, just a short time. But
Amen.
we're very adamant about those three things, uh, and recognizing the careers and the success of great people, and sharing their legacy, and also promoting great companies, and that we're all in this together. When the Titanic went down, it didn't matter what color rat you was, you drowned. And we don't want this ship to go down. It's a great ship, and we want to keep it afloat. So this is our way of trying to help do that. We're just one entity, but we always welcome a lot of others to get on board and come and help us.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, and Gary, thanks again for being on our podcast, and it's always a joy to talk to you. And that's the thing that I had told our assistant manager. When he went with me, I just said, eh, these guys have a lot of pedigree to them, a lot of fame and fortune behind them. But over the years, guiding, a lot of people that are famous, and hanging out with people like Kevin Van Dam and stuff like that. And the thing that just, gosh, I don't even know how to say it, but it's just so um, grounding, I guess, in the fact that they love what you love. There's a passion for what you love. There's a common bond and caring friendship that is there, ready to be formed before you even introduce yourself, because you have the same loves, likes, and it's really, really neat to be part of an industry and a corporation that people are grounded, and they're able to get along at a point where stature and title really is irrelevant.
Well, you're right, Roll. And I'll tell you something else too. It's our job, as those of us that's been in this career and in the outdoors industry for many, many years, to help lead, guide, and direct these young people that's coming up, because
Yes.
I see so much good in these kids. We tend to, Jerry Clyer said it best. He said, we only hear about the percentage of the kids that are bad, that are doing bad things. We don't hear about all the good ones. Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of really, really good young people out there, and they're going to be doing and carrying on what we're doing right now in future years. And if we don't help lead, guide, and direct them, uh, our industry and our technology could go in ways that we might not want to see it go. So every chance I get to help a young person that's trying to get in this business, I do, and I know you do as well. And
Yeah.
my hat's off to those folks, but they are following our footsteps, and it's our job to look back and reach back and help pick them up.
Yeah. Well, that was why I got into education, and I had a full career in education, and ran two career background on me. I was coaching and school administrator and everything, but yet still had my outdoor background company going on the side. But I just felt like that, I owed a lot to people that cared about kids, and I needed to be one. I needed to be one because I would have never been where I am today without, people caring about kids and the teachers and the coaches that took me under their wing. And, we have a lot of events at Missouri Hunting Fishing Adventures that have promoted a lot of outdoors with the kids. Jay Ellis with the FLW, we've had him in. We've done things with Drury Outdoors with Coon Dog, with, youth hunts and done a lot of things with the neighboring schools around here as well. And it's just so important that that next generation will love that sunset just as much as what we loved it, even though that we're not here on Earth anymore. And I praise anyone that does that. I really do. Anything that we missed, Gary, that would be important to share?
Well, I do want to say a word or two about my Bethel University bass fishing program, if you don't mind,
Wonderful.
because I think it's very important for especially high schools and colleges that don't have fishing teams to realize that, especially the smaller colleges, that with each and every opportunity, if you've got a fishing program or fishing team on campus, everywhere they go, they have the opportunity to get in front of national television cameras. And that's lifted Bethel University to a national platform that we could have never ever brought ourselves to. And of course, winning tournaments helps. I've won 13 national titles, and I've won 19 regional championships
That's
over my
awesome.
career.
That's
But
awesome.
it's not all about the winning. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're the last place team. When you walk across that stage with that jersey on with your school name on it, you're in front of national television cameras. But
Oh,
uh,
yes.
if anybody out there would like information or help on starting a program, either high school or college wise, by all means, reach out to me because I'm always willing to help. And we need strong presence from all areas of this country in the fishing industry.
Oh, that's so true. And actually, the last time prior to the event there that we spoke was at the Abu Garcia Open down on Kentucky Lake. My son was competing, and you were coaching, and I was helping out with the university there as well at Missouri State University. It's I'll just tell you, and I know that you have some of the same feelings, but on those takeoffs, when you see the young men out there praying and saluting the flag and showing that respect and then to see them taking off and representing that school on that no wake zone. I mean that I'm not too proud to say that I had a tear or two in my eyes many times with seeing my son take off and to see those kids that are excited about competing in that venue. It's just a wonderful thing. And then I know as well that you've supported the high school level fishing and here in Missouri we did the high school level with the Lew's Tournament Trail for 4 years with my son, and to see 400 boats out there with young kids and captains that most time are the dads, and that quality time on the water with those kids. I mean, that's priceless. That's priceless. And it is expensive. I will say that as a father, it does get expensive. Uh,
Yes, it
but
does.
it is, it's well worth it. And the quality time that you're spending. And I think that investment is so important.
Well, and I get these kids at a very unique time in their life because they are kids when they come to school at 18 years old. They may think they're grown, and uh, they may be grown in stature, but they still have a lot of mental growth to do. And I tell folks I get them as kids, and I hopefully hand them back to their parents 4 to 5 years later as adults with a great education and ready to go out and meet the world. The neat thing about these kids is they're never going to quit hunting and fishing, and
No,
uh, they they wear me out with wanting to go on tournaments. About every weekend. Of course, we have a schedule just like every other team on our campus, and we stick to that schedule for the most part. But these kids are hungry. They want to go and they want to do things. And things that you and I didn't get to do when we were younger because of several
right.
reasons. Number one, the financial part of it. Number two, the technology wasn't there that they have at their hand each and every day now and that they've grown up with. And you mentioned Lew's and some of these other great companies that are making products that, I remember it took me about a month to learn how to cast a bait caster. And now with these Lew's reels and great rods that everybody's got, and Shimano and a lot of other companies, man, in 15 minutes, I can teach a kid to cast a bait caster without any problem at all.
I don't know if that had been true with that old Bantam 10 Shimano that had
Oh,
the
yeah.
free spool.
Yeah. Or the old 5000C, so.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Good,
think I
good.
back. I think I backlashed the first three spools of line that I put on that 5000C, and had to cut it out with a pair of scissors and go get another roll of line.
But Gary, you had that Johnson Century waiting there just in case you had a big backlash, so you could grab it.
I want to tell you something. I'm glad you brought that up. The largest bass I ever caught in my life, my personal best, was a 7 pound, 8 ounce largemouth caught out of a farm pond on a Mepps #2 Black Fury on a Lew's speed stick and a Johnson Century reel.
There you go.
And when
That's
I
that's a
got him up on the
challenger, man.
bank, the reel was ruined, but the rod was intact, and I got the fish in my hand and turned him back loose.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We'll have to talk some more about that because my dad ran a bait shack for 30 some years. And that's why we squirrel hunted, was to put those tails on those #2 and #3 MEP spinners. That's why we squirrel hunted.
Absolutely. I've sold a bunch of them to Mepps. I'll tell you, I have. I used
Yeah.
to lay them down, put a Bible over them, a big family Bible, and mash them down flat and put them in an envelope and send them to Lew's. I think I was getting 18 cents a piece for them.
Yep.
But a
Yep.
lot of times I traded them out for lures. I love them Mepps Black Fury #2s.
My dad had two mailboxes in our bait shop, and people would bring those squirrel tails in, and they just put them in the mailbox, and we stored all those tails in those mailboxes. And then, of course, when we start making those tails, then we would pull them out of those boxes, and then we would cut the ends off, and then we'd kind of feather it out. But yeah, those are good memories. Those are good memories. That's what it's all about. And it's fun too for us to share some of this stuff, because I know some of the younger listeners are going, "What?"
Yeah. Well, I took a lot of squirrel tails and made a lot of my own crappie jigs with squirrel tails too, and flies for fishing on willow fly hatches with a fly rod. Made a
Yep.
lot of stuff out of squirrel tails. That's some of the
Yep.
best natural hair that you can use in my mind.
And I guarantee you've used the bucktail too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I'll tell you what, I know you do a great job there at Bethel University. I got to see your kids compete, and I've kept up with them over the years, and you've done a quality job there, raising those kids to be respectful. And I know that you've had several good fishermen go on into the pro level as well. Can you
Yeah, I've
mention
got
some names there?
I've got 13 of my kids that are, well, they're not kids anymore, but Jake Lawrence, Cole Floyd, John Garrett, Cody Huff, KJ Queen, Will Davis, Tristan McCormick, just to mention a few that's gone pro. And we've got
Yeah.
other guys that Brad Abelman is, Boyd Duckett's one of his top salespeople. We've got several that's in the outdoors industry that's professional guides now on their particular lakes. But got 13 guys that are fishing professionally right now, as far as I know, and there may be more that I don't know. But we recruit nationwide, so these young people come from all over the country. I'm very, very blessed to get to share 4 or 5 years with them, and I tell each and every one of them that you're going to be here 4, possibly 5 years, but you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to be graduating, and enjoy the ride, because it don't last long, and life doesn't last long. Uh, so get up every morning and just be proud of what you get to do. Don't let anything aggravate you, and don't let anything take away the goodness of what you're going to do today.
That's kind of like a buddy of mine that I played college football with. He went on in the NFL, and he blocked for Barry Sanders. And I'll never forget, he had a 3-year career, and he said, "You know what NFL stands for?" And I said, "No." He said, "Not for long."
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and that's the kind of way life is. It's NFL, not for long. We gotta enjoy each and every moment of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I'm just glad to be getting to do what I'm doing. I never plan on retiring. People ask me all the time, so, well, Coach, when are you going to retire? I said, what am I going to retire to? I'm doing what everybody else wants to do when they retire, so I better stick at what I'm doing.
I totally understand. Totally understand.
I'll
Garry,
leave you.
we've been so blessed to have you on here today, and we're going to have you on again and do some more episodes with you where we can get into some more details and some more things, and especially after we have you in to hunt, we'll definitely do an episode with you after we have you in camp and do a duck hunt, and we want you to be part of what we're doing here, and we just feel like that if we can surround ourselves with positive people like you that are believers, it just makes us a better company and a better people in that process. We thank you so much to being with us here today.
Well, I'm very honored that you would consider me to be a part of what you're doing, Royal, and likewise, I look forward to getting you on the TV show and us sharing some time either hunting or fishing. And I know that there's going to be several days down the road that we're going to get to share some memories together and make new ones.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds great. We always close in a prayer. So if you would pray with us, Garry, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Heavenly Father, we come to you today, Lord, and we just ask a special blessing and ask a prayer for Roll and all his staff and all the folks that help him do what he does, his sponsors and his promoters. And Lord, we just ask that you keep your hand upon both of us with each and everything we do. May your grace shine through. In your precious name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.